I'm not raising black children. I'm raising children. I'm not raising black men. I'm raising men. I'm not raising black children. I'm raising children. I'm not raising black men. I'm raising men. And whether you are black or you are white, no matter what race that you are, there are certain things about being a man and being a good man when it comes to character and integrity and safeguarding the helpless and sticking up for those who need it and being a good man of reputation. None of that has to do with skin color. Everything has to do with the character of the man. And like I said, it's probably probably not an answer that some people would say is important, but that's where the world has gone, where we think that the most important thing about us is our skin color or our gender or our sex or our political affiliation or all these different identity politics or the identities that we put on each other, when really we're just human beings on this earth. And there are certain things about being a good person that transcend skin color and age and sex and religion and all of those different things. What I feel too, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying but it's me. It's uniquely, that's how I feel about it. So
have you had any tough questions as of yet from your 7-year-old?
Yeah. There's questions about skin color, obviously, because it makes a lot of sense, right? It's like whether, and just a call to action for men, right? We grew up on cowboys and Indians and G.I. Joes and superheroes and stuff. And we all want to feel like a superhero, right? As the male gene, we want to feel like a superhero. And we are a superhero to our children, right? We are a superhero to our children. We are a godlike figure to our children. And we get that opportunity with each and every one of our children that we have. And it doesn't matter where you're at on the socioeconomic ladder or what you have accomplished or who you are a superhero to them. So yes, when my son sees me and he sees me like a superhero, and he can even watch me on TV, and his kids at school say, your dad's going to beat up Conor McGregor. And so I'm like a superhero to him, yet he knows he can't be exactly like me because of skin color, right? I'm sure in his 7-year-old brain, which really he'll understand someday when he's a little bit older, right? So there's the skin color, difference, obviously.
How do you handle that? I mean, with one-on-one with him?
I think one-on-one, I think it's the beauty of being a man of faith is we were called for a time and a family such as this. This is exactly how God created us to be. This is exactly how my family unit was supposed to be. Before I was even born, this is exactly how it was supposed to be. Before you were even born, he knew that you were chosen for me and mommy. And he knew that you were going to have your skin color. And he knew that I was going to have my skin color. And there's beauty in that. And it's unique to a lot of people. It might be foreign to some people, but it is absolutely beautifully God ordained. And it's something that is going to be a part of our testimony. It's something that is making impacts through a butterfly effect that we don't even understand yet, whether it be people that see me from afar, people that see the way that I love you, the differences that we do have compared to if we did have the exact same skin color and the exact same eyes and the exact same hair. This is exactly the way God created you, and you were created in God's image, and you were created for so much more than you can ever think or imagine. And God has commissioned me and chosen me to be your dad. And the most important thing that I can be is your dad. And I tell him every single night, I whisper it into his ear, and he probably gets tired of hearing it, but I thank him. I'm like, I thank you so much for being my son, and I'm so proud to be your dad. And I just think I didn't get that as much when I was a kid. My parents loved me so much, but they didn't really make me feel like I could run through that wall. They didn't really make me feel like I could go across those county lines and go anywhere across the world and do anything I want to. And I want my children to unlock something inside of themselves to make them believe that they can do anything. And I pray that prayer over them every single night. You are Hap Chandler. You are ace, Chandler. When you walk into a room, people take notice. When you speak, people listen. When you walk in a certain direction, people will follow. You are a child of God. You are the head, not the tail. You are above and not beneath. And you are chosen for a time such as this. And I am so proud to be your father. And the best thing that we can do is pour into these kids, because if I can be a superhero to him, but somehow that superhero believes in him more than the superhero believes in himself, then what can't he accomplish, And it's so much bigger and so much deeper and so much more impactful than our differences, our skin color, the things that are different about us, because we're so much more the same than we are different.
All right. So everything that he stated was all nice, sweet words, right? Great, sweet words that you would expect any parent to, in a sense, say to a child. But this is not just any child. This is a black child. These are two black young boys. The world sees black kids differently than they do see white children. This just is what it is. I'm not sure why people keep trying to do this rose-colored glasses type of thing. If you literally got people in India that mistreat the people that are darker complected there, they have a caste system. Why would you then think that supernaturally the world doesn't see color? If you got Mexicans that literally treat the darker complected Mexicans worse than the lighter skin, why would you then think that nobody sees color? If you got people in Asian countries doing acts and performing blackface because this is the way that they're going to try to portray their favorite artist or singer or what have you, why would you then think that they're not going to sit up there and see color? If you got people over there in Jamaica deciding that they want to use, what was it, cake soap, or they want to bleach their skin or whatever in order to become lighter because they're dark, why would you then think that people don't see color? Like, it's a little bit baffling to me, because you can go all over the world and you can spot different pieces of history, different areas around the world where you can clearly see how darker complected people of the exact same nationality get treated. And you already know if somebody black shows up, it's going to be far worse. But yet you have these things going on. And then this is the other thing too. Why is it that every single time that I just so happen to see Caucasian individuals, they always opt to adopt black kids? I'm just a little bit confused. You're not going to sit up there and tell me that the main kids that are just up there for adoption is just the black kids. You're not going to sit up there and tell me that. You mean to tell me you have kids in your family, or you don't want to have your own kid? Huh? Excuse me? Like, what's happening? Why is it every single time this is what you see? You always see, oh, I gotta, adopt an African baby. I gotta adopt a baby somewhere from Harlem, somewhere from Detroit, somewhere from Watts. I just gotta go directly out there and get that black child because I know that they need saving. Like, I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit curious, because again, the main thing that I'm going to point out as a black man is that he's right. He can't raise a black man. He can't raise a black boy. He can just raise a quote unquote boy. He has to sit up there and just raise it the best way that he can, because he can't sit up there and touch on history. He don't know what that is. He can read it, but he don't know what that is. He don't know what that experience is. When those black boys walk directly out there and they sit up there and they're in their suburban towns and their schools, and there might be the only ones directly out there, or the few that are directly out there, and they start getting teased and picked on because of their skin color. They start getting called certain types of names. What are you going to do then? Champ, what are you going to do? Because you're not going to be able to fight directly for those kids. They're going to have to face things like this throughout the rest of their life. And again, that's something that you can't even arm them for. Because again, you don't actually have and carry that history. You don't know the actual weight or the understanding of it. You're not from that side of the field. It's impossible for you to sit up there and do. No matter how great of a fighter that you are, no matter how great of a champion, no matter how much you believe in the faith in God, it is impossible for you to raise them as black boys. It is impossible for you to raise them as black men. But you're going to sit up there and try to word this differently. And then when a conversation came up where the guy asked, he was like, so, have you, had any conversations, with your kids, dealing with, what's different and what's not? He said yes. And then he just started babbling. He didn't go into specifics, started talking about God and religion and, hey, we're raised on cowboys and Indians. And I wasn't, for me being in a black household, I wasn't just raised on cowboys and Indians. I was raised on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Good Times, the Cosby Show, Hanging with Mr. I was raised on black shows. I was raised on shows where I was able to see me, where I was able to see a black experience, other people that went through or see the exact same things that I see, right? I'm looking at a reflective thing directly out there, somebody that I might just so happen to grow up, into. Somebody that I just may happen to see out there in the street, somebody that might be a best friend or a stepbrother or a peer of mine. That's the one main other thing about a lot of those shows, right? It's important to see somebody that looks just like you. And he's not going to really understand that, because this is why he went back to the cowboys and Indians and the superheroes. All of those things, if you go back far enough, all of those things revolve around him and the ideal of the perfection of the skin color of who it is that is supposed to describe. And it's people that look like him. Superman, Thor, Captain America, all of those guys look like him. None of those people look like his son. None of them. And even if, like a Sam Wilson, you were able to put this guy directly into a Captain America outfit, there's going to be outrage that is online. You're going to have people screaming and crying and saying like, oh, this is not source material. This is not original. Why they're trying to blackwash every single thing. And, this is DEI and all this other. They're going to be saying all of that stuff. Like I said, there's so many things that these two children are going to have to go through that they cannot prepare them for. And there's going to be a lot of other people that are amongst them, and they may be black, and they're not going to be able to prepare them for it either, because a lot of them just tend to be like, oh, let me just overlook it. Oh, that's just them being stupid. That's the main thing that a lot of people just want to categorize. Oh, that's just people being stupid. It is what it is. Just let them be stupid. But like I said before, the moment of time that you allow a problem to persist is going to get worse, because you got people out here that think like that, which means that that's something that's coming from home. If it's coming from home, that means that you got a multitude of people believing in that. If you got a multitude of people believing in that, that means that you got a neighborhood that believes in that. If you got a neighborhood that believes in that, that means that you have a school system. You have an overall ecosystem. You got a biome of which this type of rhetoric is fostered and it's nurtured and it's passed on, right? And you got kids getting indoctrinated. So you got Larry the milkman, Steve the cable guy, Ted the mailman. You got everybody that is, in a sense, in the same type of belief, either openly or closetedly. I'm just going to make that into a word. Right? So, oh my God. Like I said, it's amazing listening to a lot of things that people have to state. And then knowing the fact that I can look at some of their children directly out here, some of their family, and I can see them say and do some of the most stupidest things online when it deals with other races directly out here. Even though these are the same people that say that, oh, I don't, I teach my family to respect all human beings and all this. Like I said, just allow somebody to get mad enough. Allow somebody to get mad enough, and they're going to show you exactly who it is that they are. And they're going to say all the things they've always wanted to sit up there and state. It happens every single time. So, like I said before, they're going to learn the hard way. There's going to be a lot of tough conversations. There's going to be a lot of nights where people are going to be crying and, not being able to understand. And like I said, it's going to be a lot of things coming ahead. A lot of things. And they're going to have to sit up there and figure it out. Hopefully your faith in God is strong enough to help you persevere through all of the things that those young boys are going to have to sit up there and deal with and face from now up until the end.